Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And guess what? You already know today is Wednesday. And what that means is 360 degrees health. And that means I got my main mentor, my guy, Dr. Michael Mantell. And we got another superb guest. So I'm here. I'm excited about the show today, Dr. Mike. How you doing?
Doing great. It's good to be here. And I'm sorry that our leader isn't with us yet. I know she will be, but we do have a wonderful guest, very inspirational, very uplifting, and specifically speaking to people, women in particular, with a particular set of concerns. And I know she's going to be connecting with and uplifting everyone who listens and watches.
I'm excited about her story, and I'm excited about her book. And so I'm excited about everything that's going on today. And so, we can't even start it without our producers back in our California studios. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm always good, and it's always a pleasure when you have you on with Dr. Mantell. I always learn so much, and it's always a positive show. So looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great right here. So what I want to do, Todd, is I want to hook up all the platforms at the same time, and let's get this show started.
All right. We're going to lock them in about 24 seconds.
Yes. And
Okay.
this guest that we got here,
Fabulous.
I'm excited. I'm excited about her. And just found out she's in San Diego.
Chula Vista. I didn't realize she's a neighbor practically right down the road here, and we'll get to know her, and we're going to see her coming up at the American Heart Association.
.com. It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. But, yeah, guess what? It's 360 degrees of health. And as you know, every Wednesday, we got Dr. Michael Mantell. One of the, he don't like for me to say this, but one of the top docs in his business. And, he always bring us the best guest, and we got one today. So how you doing, Doc? How you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks again for the honor of allowing me to co-host this with you and Michelle. It is an honor, truly. It looks easy. People look and listen and look, oh yeah, here they are again. They don't know what's going on in the background to make all this work. And our esteemed leader, Michelle, of course, is the one who keeps it all working smoothly. But you're right. Our guest today is going to be fantastic. And I really urge people to listen, especially if you want to learn about heart health and diabetes and how it impacts women in particular.
I'm so excited to have this guest here, not just because of the book and all that, but some of the things that she's talking about, she's experienced those things herself.
Yeah.
And she have met others that have experienced certain things when she go and explain it, write about it, and just bring everything together. So, Doc, I'm excited, and I'm excited about this guest. And I'm not going to do probably any honors because Michelle is so absolutely fantastic when it comes to introducing our guests. But you know what, Doc? I'm going to give it a shot.
Go ahead. Let's hear about this.
So first of all, I want to talk about the title of today's show. The title of today's show is 360 Degrees Health, Women, Heart Health. And you know what? I'm excited just to hear that because there's so many women out there probably going to be listening to the show and going to want to know as much as possible about that. And our guest today is Monique Hall. And I'll tell you, she's an author and heart ambassador for the American Heart Association. And you know what I tell you, she's going to also talk about the events that leads to her heart events. She's going to discuss a new book, which is called Reset. My Heart Stopped, but I Didn't. And she's going to talk about a whole lot of things, purpose and motivation for writing this book. So I tell you, Monique, is a native San Diego. Like I said, she's an author, and she's part of the Heart Association. Not, I'm talking about, especially in San Diego. And Monique is a type 1 diabetic and triple cardiac arrest survivor. Wow! I can't wait, Doc. I can't wait. Let's bring Monique to. Let's bring her on stage right now.
Hey there. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
Monique, it's a pleasure to have you. And now, as far as our audience goes, they know that every week I bring on a physician or a healthcare professional. One of the things that's near and dear to my heart as I work in this field is the patient experience. How does a patient feel she or he is being treated? And when I read about you and saw you in social media and was connected to you, I thought, and the book, of course, Reset, I thought we've got to get this person on because she's an expert, all right, not just in diabetes and, cardiac arrest, but from the patient perspective, which makes it all the more interesting. So thank you for being here and taking time.
I am so excited to have you here, Monique, and just to talk about some of the things that we need to understand, especially when it comes to heart health. I know you're talking about women heart health, but guys can also get a whole lot of this information that you're going to share with us. So I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching us on, was it E360 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or over 68 other live platforms, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, which I think you want to, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on and go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. I tell you, I'm ready. Monique, I got the first question. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you? I know you're San Diego native. What keeps you going? What is your passion? What do you love doing? And why is this topic today so important to you?
Well, number one on my list is my family. I my family means everything to me. My husband and my son. He's a miracle story unto himself. So I wake up every day with that sense of purpose of how can I help them? How can I make their day a little bit better, move a little bit more smoothly for my mother and my sisters as well, because they have health concerns that require my attention. So each day is filled with a desire to help.
Monique, you speak from the heart. And although you've experienced 3 cardiac arrests, it sure has not slowed you down. It sure has fueled your heart. You're a heart ambassador for the American Heart Association. And you and I both work closely with the Heart Association here in San Diego. I've spoken for them. I'm going to be on a panel coming up in October. You're going to be at the luncheon and so forth. We invite everyone here to please check the American Heart Association in San Diego and check into that. But the reason I ask is, as a heart ambassador for the American Heart Association, what are some key messages that you want to convey to our health conscious audience?
If you don't have a fitness or health routine, do your best to develop one. It's not something that I think can be approached overnight. I think that's too overwhelming. Just gradually introduce things into your life, whether it's positive changes in your diet, meeting with a nutritionist if you do need help doing that. Also with the physical fitness aspect of it, either joining a club or developing a plan and involving your family to keep you honest, doing it at home, or just going for daily walks, something to keep you moving every day.
So you mentioned movement, you mentioned nutrition. When we think about lifestyle habits, especially preventing problems as opposed to treating them afterwards, and that's what you're mentioning now, what else do you add to that? Spirituality, faith, social connection? What about those?
All of them, and also keeping a running check on the amount of stressors in your life. I found in my situation, looking back, I was under tremendous stress. I did have faith. I did have a good network of people around me supporting me, but it just still wasn't enough. So all of them combined, and just given it in the right amounts by the right people would be, it's very helpful. But I can't stress enough how badly stress can affect a person in their physical health as well as their mental and emotional health, and how draining it is on you.
JC, I made a mistake. I said that Monique is not a health professional. I wish health professionals spoke this way. You are a health professional, Monique.
And
really a brilliant start.
She's a health professional, and she, just like I said, experienced a lot of these things that she can talk about. She just mentioned about diet, physical fitness, and other things that are involved in having a healthy heart plan. So I tell you, we're going to take a station break. But we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. And we're going to talk to Monique, find out what inspired her to write her book, talk about her book. And I want to hear about these 3 what we call triple cardiac arrest. And I want to know what that means. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on and just go and ask any question that you have. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon Dr.
James J.C. Cooley. That's right. Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. J.C. Cooley Foundation thanks you in advance for your contribution.
Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, the true life coming of age story by James J.C. Cooley. Using humor, wit, and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural deep south town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and as you all already know, our first segment is always to get an opportunity to know our guests, and this guest right here is special. And she already started it out, and I'm so interested in finding out a whole lot more about her. Also, I want to know from her, what does a triple cardiac arrest, what's that mean?
Well, it means, I guess technically I'm on my fourth life. In 2020, I started experiencing symptoms that weren't that I had never experienced before in my time as a diabetic. So my husband and my son took me to the Grossmont Hospital ER while I was in the treatment room being I guess they were trying to figure out what my diagnosis was or what my symptoms, what was happening to me. They ran an EKG. The first EKG was normal. So it caused the staff to become frustrated because they didn't know what was wrong. And by this time, I was screaming out in pain. I'm normally a good patient. I don't cause a lot of problems. I'm not noisy, but the pain that I was experiencing was so intense, I was hollering out in pain. They administered as much morphine as they could to try and dull the pain, but it didn't help. So after a little while, the doctor that was treating me in the ER rushed back into the treatment room and looked at me and said, "You're having a heart attack." And from that moment, everything became very surreal. I looked at him in disbelief and I said, "What?" And the only thing that I could do after that was to look over at my husband and my son. I told my husband that I was scared. And before I knew it, enveloping blackness came into my view and I flatlined. That was the first time. They were able to revive me and stabilize me for a few minutes. I guess my husband has kind of filled me in on all of what happened. And then I had the second cardiac arrest, and they ran back in, went through their processes and saved me again. And I found out much later because because of the PTSD I experienced, please forgive my dogs, that I experienced. My mother-in-law, who is a nurse practitioner, I am so sorry. She told me later that really they would have stopped in her experience after the second. But I was stabilized for a while, and then the third heart attack hit, and they actually tried to save me a third time and stabilized me. My heart was beating at 5%, I was essentially dead. And this was when Dr. Nasir Azimi, who was on call night, came in. Yes, he's my friend. He came in, and my husband and Grayson, they were outside of the treatment room. They experienced all of this. They saw the staff go in and out each time. And Dr. Azimi looked at my case, and he pondered on it a little bit. And one of the nurses said, "What are we doing, doctor? She's essentially dead." And he looked at my husband and he looked at Grayson. And he has a son near in age to Grayson. And he said that something spoke to him. And he said, "I have to try and keep this mom with her son." So he told the nurse, "We can't do anything worse. So let's try to save her." So he got the approval from my husband, and they prepped me for surgery. He put 2 stents in my heart and used the Abiomed heart pump to allow my heart to rest while they were doing that, and in post-op, I believe. And so much of that, from the moment where the Blackness enveloped me to me waking up, was truly in God's hands. I say that because I did have an outer body experience, and I testified that I was in the presence of the Lord. I knew I was dying, and I said, like a good Christian, if it's my time, I will go. Then a voice somehow reached me and said my son's name. And I thought, oh gosh, yes, Grayson. I wanted to help him grow up. I wanted to see him grow up. And all this while in this vast darkness, there was a glowing light. The light shone a little bit brighter when I had the thought of wanting to see my son. And I was allowed, I understood it to mean that I could come back. Although at the state of being that I was in, I wasn't sure how to do that. I tried moving in an upward direction and I didn't feel like it would allow me. Trying to go down, it was allowing me to move. So I slowly made that descent and had visions during that time. Then when I was finally back with myself, I heard Dr. Azimi and the other doctors discussing my case. That was how I learned that I had died at least once. I remember seeing my husband, Chris, break down and cry. And I remember feeling my sister's hands, in particular Trisha, but I do remember both of them speaking to me, pleading with me to come back.
Wow. This is so amazing because I had one of those type of experiences, but I'm not going to share that today. This is your show.
We have never heard anything that moving, that inspiring, and the way the planet works. Dr. Azimi is my doctor. Dr. Azimi has been on our show. He's going to be on again. I'm not speechless. Michelle and JC know that, but I am speechless. I mean, this is incredible. So I have a question for you. Obviously, we can have 1,000 questions, but as someone who's been both a patient with very complex health needs and a health advocate who is a brilliantly articulate woman, what changes would you recommend to healthcare providers to significantly improve the patient experience, especially for those managing conditions like diabetes or heart disease, especially in this time of crisis that you and your family went through? What recommendations do you have for doctors from the patient's perspective, the most important?
I've had a doctor once that told me that the advice that I'm giving you, I would give to somebody that I love and that I care about. I think that type of mindset would be incredible for a doctor-patient experience. If it was the information that was provided to the patient about what they're going through, if it was less clinical and less textbook, and spoken to like one person to another, I just think that would make a huge difference, even if it's thought that it wouldn't. I know for me, it's made a tremendous difference.
We're not here to tout Dr. Azimi, but that's the way he speaks to patients. His one heart connects to another heart. Michelle, here you are.
Hello, Monique. How are you?
I'm good, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing great. We got about less than 2 minutes before the break starts, but you have a book out called Reset My Heart Stop, but I didn't. And we heard you tell the story about your journey regarding your experience. So I'm going to have you think about this question. So what exactly inspired you to say, I'm going to put this down, pen and paper, and tell my story? So that's something I want you to think about after we get back from break, and we'll leave it over to James.
Wow, this is so incredible. And I can't wait to get back to finish, not finish, 2 more segments, but to get more information and just listen to this young lady speak and tell her story, and also inspire others that you can't give up on nothing that you do. And you put everything in God's hands, and God will make a way, but you still have to believe, even if you're on your deathbed or close to it. I tell you what, if you want to be part of the conversation, let's go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago?
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, I am just intrigued and just listening to Monique's testimony, especially dying 3 times. Literally, that's what that is. 3 times, and still be able to come back and talk about it, because our great friend, Dr. Zimi, just had him on the show about 2 weeks ago. Fantastic. And Dr. Mike, Dr. Mike just said, hey, you got to have this guy. This guy is incredible. And just to see his work in you, Monique, is so inspiring. And you telling the story. But real quickly, before we even start, Todd, I got to get you. This is the time that I get 30 seconds or a minute from you. What do you think so far?
Wow, what an amazing guest. I mean, Monique, her life experience, dying 3 times, that's just amazing. And to be able to write a book and, teach others about her experience, what an amazing guest. I can't wait to get right back to her.
We got to get right back to it. And I'll tell you what, our viewers, again, if you want to be part of the conversation, you're watching us on the platform or you're listening to us on the radio, all you have to do is you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, I think you was asking a question right before we went to the break, so I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Oh, yes, thank you. So, Monique, you wrote this book called Reset My Heart Stop, but I Didn't. Some people are very private about the journey they have gone through, personally, professionally, and as long as their family and their close friends know about that journey. What inspired or motivated you to tell your story from pen to paper, and what are the takeaways do you want the readers to get from your story?
The inspiration, I have to give credit to my dear friend, my sister from another mister, as we call each other. Once I was released from the hospital and we were able to really talk, and I shared my story with her in detail, she gave me the first thoughts that my story was unique and inspirational, and that it could help other people. And as I became members of social media groups for survivors, I saw that there was a need, and being an empathetic person, I kind of put myself in other people's shoes, thinking, how are they dealing with this? I know what my daily struggles are. I know the trauma that I've dealt with, and having this happen right on the onset of COVID, the tremendous fear that I felt. So I just wanted to use my experience and my compassion to try to help other survivors that may have difficulty coping with what they've experienced. Maybe for their family members, I'm imagining other survivors that kind of keep it all internalized and don't want to talk about it. And like, well, your family loves you and they want to know how to help you. Maybe if I share my insights, they'll get some kind of idea and have an understanding so that they know how to approach that with you. And then for all of the people that are walking around not being aware of their family health history, not paying attention to their health conditions, whether they're diagnosed or undiagnosed, thinking that it could never happen to them. I just wanted to show through my story just how easily it can happen and how devastating it can be. And my gosh, if you have that knowledge, wouldn't you want to try and do your best to prevent it? So that was the big motivation for me to kind of deal with my own demons and write a very candid account of what happened in my experience.
And so it's got to be a bestseller because your message is so important for men and women. We'll talk about that in a moment. But how do you recommend that people advocate for their own health within the healthcare system based on the experiences you've had?
Well, I've been in the healthcare system since I was 5 years old when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So unfortunately, I've had more exposure than your normal person that, goes through their life and, hits the brick wall once they're the age I'm at now. It kind of amazes me in one sense because there's so much information out there. If you just keep your mind open to it, you know that you need to go for annual checkups after certain ages, at least once every 3 to 5 years, depending on your age, and then annually. My understanding was as soon as I was an adult, my responsibilities were to vote and to have a good primary doctor. So that's just always been using a term right now in my wheelhouse. And it's always been a passion of mine, at least just with just the physical fitness aspect of it. I've always enjoyed dance. I've always enjoyed aerobic exercise. But for those people where it may not be, it's not something that, if you're an overall healthy person, the need may not be as pressing, but it should be on everyone's mind to at least inquire and find out what should I be doing and how often should I be doing it.
And we also have to emphasize that this is the accessibility for everyone we've got to work hard on. We've got to work very diligently on creating more ease of accessibility, regardless of where someone is or what they have or don't have.
Wow, this is incredible. We got to take a station break, but you are so inspiring. And I want to come back and pick it up. Dr. might want to pick it up and continue this story because it's inspiring others. I know our viewers and our listeners are enjoying this conversation because she's sharing so much stuff now from a personal perspective and from a life perspective. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching us on. Ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after this.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy that cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Listen up, it's Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. I tell you, Monique Hall, I just want to salute you again.
You.
The courage to tell your story and to inspire others. I am inspired. I know Dr. Mike, and I can just feel it from him. He's inspired as well. And Michelle came in a little late, but I'm sure she's inspired. Michelle, what are your thoughts?
Wow, just to hear about the experience that you went through and your fight to come back to your loved ones. I've heard people have said similar things, and that is a life-changing moment. And I would say it's also a wake-up call to as much as you can as possible. Take care of your health and follow up on appointments, and also give kudos and just appreciation to the medical team that helped you and assisted you in your recovery.
And I want to say one thing. I want to remind the audience. And I'm gonna let Michelle, Monique, you come back. But what we're talking about is this great woman. And we're talking about the book. We're talking about not more than the book. We're talking about diabetes. And we're talking about everything. My heart stopped But I didn't. That's so powerful. My heart stopped, but I didn't. Dr. Mike, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, and let's get some more information from Monique.
It's often said that this is an expression, maybe you've heard it before. The best doctors, they go down there. They think it's all through them. But no, we know it's not. Doctor, in your case, Dr. Azimi and the team at Grossmont Hospital that worked for your benefit understood that it was coming through them, not from them, through them. And you alluded to that earlier. I think it's very important that we pick up on that theme. You started off the show today by talking about stress and the role that stress plays. I know you said you work out regularly, you eat carefully, you have social connections, you have faith and spirituality, all the things that we talk about in lifestyle health. When you think about anything specific you do for stress day in and day out, any tips you can share with people?
For me personally, prayer is my biggest weapon against stress. Even in my past life or my former life, I would always pray and call on the Lord. And we were talking off screen, and I had those conversations while driving, and something will happen, and I'll say, "Okay, I hear you." He gives me the grace to kind of slow everything down and try to dissect a situation for what it is and make that decision right then and there if I'm going to let it cause me the anxiety and the stress and the upset, or am I going to try and find a way to diffuse the situation and keep me in a better mental state of mind. I know it's not for everyone, but I have greatly relied on prayer for my entire life.
That's very powerful indeed. The heart beats, it stops, and then it beats, and it stops. And in a sense, we all experience a moment where our heart stops, and then it beats again. Your job here is not over. That's why it took him 3 times to say to the doctors, "Will you wake her up, please? Her job is not over." And we know that your message needs to be carried throughout. What do you do as a heart ambassador for the Heart Association here in San Diego?
Well, my work with the Heart Association is it's still fairly new. I did participate in their fundraising luncheon earlier this year. I believe it was in February.
Yes.
As they celebrated 100 years. So I am looking for additional opportunities to join with them, but I use every opportunity that I have to try to incorporate their name so that there's more association, more spreading interest, and hopefully more awareness to.
This is great. Michelle, any thoughts that you have as we begin to tie up this incredible experience with Monique?
All I can say, and I mentioned it a couple minutes ago, is that the medical team that never gave up on you, that is so important to have physicians who not only care, but they're going to do everything possible to make sure to get their patients to reunite them with their families if possible. and the fact that they didn't give up on you and that you had this fantastic team of doctors. What would you like to say to them, Monique?
The deepest heartfelt thank you to all of the staff that helped me in my time at Sharp Girls Mountain Hospital. They all did an excellent job. The ER doctor, I cannot remember his name. I did pass ways with him before I was released, and I do remember telling him, please keep doing what you're doing because we're in there. I just wanted him to know that, all while I was unconscious, I could hear and see, or through my mind's eye or through the outer body experience, I was very alert and aware. I was just trapped. But the fact that I don't know how often it's done for patients, the fact that they did that for me and that I was allowed to come back and share my truth and my story about it, they were there for me at a very crucial time when I needed them. And I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for them. If I were at another hospital or, somewhere else, they were just tremendous.
Wow. I tell you, we are out of time. However, real quickly, if you can tell our viewers and listeners where they can get your book, the title of your book, and where they can get it at. I agree with Dr. Mike. This should be a bestseller.
The book is titled Reset. My Heart Stopped, but I didn't. And it is currently available through Amazon.com, through Kindle or paperback.
Wow. You know what, Monique? I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on our show and share your story, because I believe you helped a lot of people. I got to thank Dr. Mike. I love that guy. I mean, he come up with the best guests ever. And I tell you what, I look forward to Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 360 degrees here. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley. Wow. She writes a tremendous program. I'd like to thank KCBQ, our studios. And I'll be back there next week in studio 2 days with my main producer, Todd. But I also like to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I tell you what, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. We'll see you there.
JC, Cooley.
Kathy's Canine and Feline.